Well, here we are ready to dive into the world of Firered, but remember there is going to be a twist. We can only use 6 encounters, our first 6 captures of the game, guys. Those are the only 6 Pokemon we can use. Now, they will be randomized, so it's going to make it even harder to catch. As well, when they evolve, it will also be randomized. Now, to name our rival. There's only one word I have to name him, and that is Poop. Since he can't know his own grandson's name, we are going to name him Poop. The best name ever. Alright guys, here we go. Our first Pokemon that we get on this run. Our first run, attempt number 1. Walrein. Okay, not too bad. Alright, who's our second one? Furret. Well, that, I mean, yeah, okay. I mean, come on. What can we get for our last one? Electrode. I mean, I think Walrein is the best bet. Not gonna lie. But, on the other hand, I feel like if I do not choose this Pokemon right here, I know my followers will be upset with me because if you guys don't know, if I've ever watched any of my lives, Firered is everyone's favorite friend, as we name Fridays, Firered Fridays. And I think I'm going to go with Firered. I'm going to go with this man right here, so let's see what we can get. Well, I may regret this later on, but we can never regret Firered. Now what I'm going to do is, since we have 6 members on the channel at this point of making this video, I am going to name every single one of my encounters after you guys. So of course, we're going to have to start off with the main man himself, Portalis. I'll go right there, man. Congratulations, we got Firered as our starter. So this is going to be very interesting. So let's do this, guys. And let's go grab our Pokeballs and get our next encounter. I forgot I have to battle this guy. So, Firered, it is up to you to save us. Come on, my dude. You got this. There we go. Easy peasy for the Firered. Let's go. Beat rival Poop. I make myself laugh. So now with the Pokeballs in hand, we are ready to catch our 6 encounters of this game. Now, how it's going to work, if all 6 Pokemon die, then I lose. If one of them dies, no. If 2 of them die, no. So my whole team of 6 have to die for me to lose this attempt. So hopefully I can catch a Pokemon fast, raise them as my own kids, and let's beat this game, guys. Let's get it done. Now, I'm just going to let it come naturally. I'm just going to run in the grass, see what happens. If the Pokemon wants to come to me, it will be my best friend. Who is our first start? Nidoran. Okay. Not bad. Not bad. Alright, come on. Let's get this guy. And there we have it. Our first teammate on the team. Let's go. Now, who will we call this after? Alright, so we're going to name it Nexus. So let's get it done right here. Starting off our second Pokemon. Let's go. Not too bad to start. Alright, our second encounter. Who will it be again? We're doing this all natural. Let's see. Come on. Grunpig. This will be a hard one to catch. Not going to lie. It's going to be very tough. Okay, we got in the red right away. Not too bad. It's a great start. Now all you gotta do is just catch, my dude. Just catch. Well, that was easy. A lot easier than I thought it would be, not gonna lie. Now we're gonna name this guy after the Gen 3 master himself, Mr. Jacob Davis. After our member, Mr. Davis, has been here for quite a while. And there it is, Mr. Davis as our third caught Pokemon. Let's see. Yep, right here. Beautiful. What's his moves? Splash, Shy Wave. Okay, Grumpig is a very, very good early game Pokemon, not going to lie. So let's try and get our full team going before the first gym. So let's get this going, guys. Alright, here we go. Our third Pokemon. Seedot. That is an interesting one. Not the best one. So let's see if Port can hold it. Alright. Easy peasy, lemon squeezy, let's go. Seedot, you're on the team, my dude, and you're gonna be named after Dingus. I'm gonna call you Mr. Dingus. It's it just rolls off the tongue a little bit better. So Mr. Dingus, that's what we're going after. Let's go. Mr. Dingus it is. Sweet. So we have 2 more Pokemon and 2 more members to give. So let's head to Viridian Forest and get our last one. Or 2 more. Let's get 2 in Viridian Forest. Again, here's our first 6 encounters. Only for 6. Doesn't matter the route. So whatever Pokemon just, you know, comes to say hi, that's what we're gonna get. So as we adventured in Viridian Forest, our first encounter was a Croconaut, which is such a sick Pokemon to get early on. So hopefully we can catch him. Now it took a lot of convincing and a lot of Pokeballs, but at the end of the day, we did end up getting our little crocodile Pokemon. And we had to name him after the best guy himself, Mr. Star Shard. So hopefully this guy can be a good asset to the team. Now our second encounter in Viridian Forest was even worse to catch. I thought Croconaut was bad, but finding a Lunatone at almost full health and trying to beat it down until it was in the red was so challenging. I had to use every single one of my Pokemon to make this work. But at the end of it, we did end up catching Lunatone to add him to the team. So I think that's a pretty good start to early game Fire Red. Now to end off the team, we had to name him Chase as our last member. So this is a team that will beat Fire Red. And remember, the evolutions are randomized, so these guys will not even stay the same throughout the game. So hopefully the evolutions will become even better than what we have now. Now finally, after being the last trainer in Viridian Forest, and after killing the last Weedle, Caterpie, and Metapod I ever want to see, we finally make it to Pewter City, where Brock awaits us for the very first badge. Now we can't over level our Pokemon, but I can at least balance everyone out to give us a fighting chance against Brock. Now I had to grind the team up to at least level 13, 14 to give us a fighting chance. So I was just in this grass running back and forth and killing as many Pokemon as possible. Now I got the whole team up to at least level 10 and then Star Shard the Croconaut to at least level 13 with Lunatone learning Confusion, Grumpig learning Psybeam, and then Croconaut learning Water Gun. There's just some OP moves to help us beat Brock, so I feel like we're pretty prepared to kick this guy's butt. Now before we face off against Brock, we have to beat his lackey, which is pretty much a no-brainer. Now very easily, Grumpig uses Psybeam to destroy his Geodude, and then to finish him off, we use Psybeam once again to kill his Sandshrew and end off this battle with no issue at all. So it is finally time to fight the first gym and get ourselves the Boulder Badge. So again, he only has 2 Pokemon, so hopefully we can actually get by this without having any issues. And easily, Grumpig does take out his Geodude. This guy is going to be a menace early game, so thank God for Mr. Davis. Now after defeating his Geodude with ease, it is now time to face his Onix. Now early game, this Onix can actually cause you a lot of issues without the right Pokemon. So thank God we have Mr. Davis to kick this guy to the curve. Now after hitting Onix with one last Psybeam, we finally got ourselves the first gym badge in Kanto. It was actually exciting. Mr. Davis carried out this whole gym, destroyed everyone, and we didn't even lose a single Pokemon, but it's such a great start to this series. Let's hope it continues that way. Now as we make our way to the next route, we get ourselves the running shoes from Professor Oak's aid. And after that we head to the next route where there are so many trainers. This is my least favorite part of Kanto, because right before you go to Mount Moon, you have to verse like 10 million trainers just to get there. Now after battling and defeating trainer after trainer after trainer, we finally make it to the front of Mount Moon on Route 4. Now, I am not a big fan of Mount Moon. It is very, very confusing. Even though I've done it many, many times, I always get confused in this cave. So let's make our way and defeat who we have to beat to make our way to Cerulean City. Now, as we make our way to the end of Mount Moon, we fight the last of the Team Rocket grunts that were blocking our way. And after doing that, we find ourselves battling that fossil maniac who's been protecting those 2 fossils to fight a 10-year-old child. But nonetheless, we kick his butt, take the fossil, which we cannot use in this run, and finally make it out of Mount Moon. So we finally make it to the Cerulean City Pokemon Center where we can heal our guys. Now our team is still very low to beat Misty because her Starmie packs a punch, so we have a lot of work to do before we go into that battle. So I decided to head over to Nugget Bridge, not realizing I have to fight our rival Poop. So this is going to be interesting. I did not feel like we were prepared for this battle. Now his Pidgeotto ended up beating Nexus, but thank God we got the poison point on him, so I was able to throw in C-Dot to finish the job. So thank God that he was able to beat Pidgeot, as I needed to get him up some levels since we do not have experience share. And C-Dot is not an easy Pokemon to battle with, so this really helped a lot to get him some levels. Now his Bulbasaur was very easy to take out since he is weak against Psychic moves and Grumpig is a monster early game. Then it just got easier from there. Chase took out his Rattata, and then we had Furret take out his Abra, and that was it for our rival Poop, who was blocking us to get to Nugget Bridge. But with that out of the way, it is now time to face the trainers and make our way towards Bill. So we beat all the NPCs on Nugget Bridge and even beat the Team Rocket Grunt with ease and gain ourselves the Nugget to make ourselves rich. So after all the battles before we get to Bill's house, surprisingly Nexus said, you know what, it is time to evolve, and evolved he did. And it was actually a very surprising evolution, as it turned out to be none other than Haunter. Now this one is going to be an interesting one to use throughout the playthrough because I don't think I can evolve him without trading. So I mean, Haunter's a good Pokemon, not the best Pokemon, so hopefully he's a great addition to the team. Now lucky enough he does learn Nightshade, and Nightshade is a very powerful move early on and could help us beat a couple of gyms and trainers along the way. Now after battling so many trainers, we finally make it to Bill's house, and now we have to turn him back into a human. Now after doing that, he gives us the SSN ticket, which gets us access to the SSN and helps us get to the HM cut. Now before we head over to the second gym, our Pokemon are very underleveled to battle Misty Starmie still, so we had to end up battling a couple more Pokemon in the wild to boost our levels. Now while doing that, C-Dot was ready to evolve, and he evolves into another Croconaw. I mean, it's not the worst Pokemon, but you know, to have doubles on the team is very interesting. I'm just hoping they don't evolve into the same Pokemon once again. Now after training our Pokemon for so long, now I feel like there's a chance to actually beat Misty Starmie, who's level 21, so that's why I had to get our guys to at least level 20 to give us a fair chance. Now here we go, it is now time to battle Misty and get ourselves the second gym badge. But first we have to battle all her goons, starting off with this guy right here with the horsey. Now this trainer didn't even cause us any issues. Remember, we have Mr. Davis on our team. This Grumpig is on a mission to kill. Even when we battled the second trainer in Misty's gym, it was very, very simple. He just Psy-beamed her to death and that was it. But now it is time to battle Misty. Now after going and healing our Pokemon, it is now time to battle Misty and get ourselves the Cascade badge. Now Misty is always a tricky opponent because both her Staryu and her Starmie no recover and can hit very, very hard. Now this battle was a little tedious, not because Staryu was hitting me very hard, but because it was recover after super potion, recover after super potion. So it got very, very annoying, but thank God for Mr. Davis being such a powerhouse he is, he ended up killing her with no problem at all. Now after beating Staryu, it is now time to move on to Misty's ace, Starmie. Now most people do have problems of beating Starmie because how fast it is, how powerful it is, and all the times it uses recover. So I thought Port would be a good Pokemon against Starmie, but in the end our little Furret had no chance against it. So I threw out our Crocodile, Mr. Starshard, because I thought, you know what, he's resistant against Water Pulse, so let's see how much damage he can actually do. But in the end, Starmie is just way too powerful, so I ended up losing Starshard in the battle, so this was going to be very difficult. So I threw Port back in action to try and get a heavy quick attack in. It actually did a lot of damage, but sadly did not kill Starmie, and we lost Port in the battle. But Mr. Dingus was ready to play cleanup, and he did that very, very nicely, and we ended up beating Misty and getting ourselves the second gym badge, which is awesome because that battle was not easy. Now after beating Misty, we make our way towards Vermilion City, where we have to do the SSN and beat Lieutenant Surge. But first we are here on Route 6, battling trainer after trainer after trainer. My god, I always forget how many trainers Kanto has and how tedious it becomes. But after battling the last one, we are here in Vermilion City, and after getting ourselves a heal, we make our way towards the SSN. Now before we get to the room to get the HM cut, we have to beat our rival Poop. So we had Port take out his Pidgeotto, Nexus take out Raticate and Kadabra. Then to finish it off, we had Mr. Davis destroy his Ivysaur. Man, Poop has nothing on me. These battles are just flying by. Now after gaining access to upstairs, we finally get the HM cut, which will give us access to battle the third gym. Alright, here we go. It is now time to battle Lieutenant Surge and to get ourselves the third gym badge. Now after doing one of the hardest Pokemon puzzles known to man, it is now time to battle Lieutenant Surge. Our team does look ready. His highest level is level 24 and his Raichu can pack a punch. So hopefully we go with this with ease. Now to start off the battle, we are using Furret. Now I did teach him Cut because we needed a Pokemon to get towards the gym. And oh my god, teaching this guy Cut was amazing. He just destroyed Voltorb in 2 shots. And then when Pikachu came out, he practically did the same thing. But this time, he just one-shotted him. I swear, Furret is one of the most underrated Pokemon ever. Now, I did speak a little too soon because he did end up getting destroyed by his Raichu. But in the end, we did end up getting the gym badge. Thank God for Nexus because he just was there to clean up the mess. And there we have it. We are now in possession of the third gym badge. It is now time to make our way towards Erica to get our fourth. Now after making our way to Rock Tunnel, I realized I have nobody that has the HM Flash. So this is going to take me a long time because we don't even have any repels. So wish me luck. Now after traveling so long in Rock Tunnel without Flash, we finally make it out and make our way towards Lavender Town. Now as I make my way towards the Lavender Tower, as I enter, I start to realize we actually need the Sliff Scope to get past the Marowak Ghost. But when I walk in, I see our rival Poop, and I thought, you know what, I kind of want to kick this guy's butt. And that is exactly what we do. This guy from the beginning never stood a chance against our team. Then after that, we headed towards the casino, battle the Grunt, blocking the entrance, and make our way inside the Team Rocket hideout to get the Sliff Scope. And there we find our long lost father, Giovanni, waiting for us and for an intense battle. Now Star Shard put in some work on this battle, not only defeating and one-shotting Onyx, but also takes down Rhyhorn in the process. Now Kangaskhan was always going to be a worry because it's a very bulky Pokemon and can hit very hard, even taking down Nexus in the process. But in the end, Mr. Dingus was there and ready to play cleanup, allowing us to beat Giovanni and to get ourselves the Sliff Scope. Now after beating Giovanni, I decided it was time to go battle Erica. Our team was set and high enough level to battle her, so hopefully it all goes well. Now her first Pokemon was a Victory Bell, and I threw out Mr. Chase the Lunatone because I thought I could hit him off with some Psychic moves because he was also half poison. And boy did that work in our favor, cause Lunatone just destroyed Victory Bell. And then sadly he gets destroyed by her ace Pokemon Vileplume. Now this one's going to be a difficult Pokemon to beat. Vileplume is a very bulky Pokemon, and that Giga Drain can be very dangerous as half my team is weak against grass. But Port was ready to try his best to beat this onion looking Pokemon. But sadly it did not go his way, and also Port was taken out. And thank God for Mr. Davis because he was able to defeat Vileplume with no issues at all. Then Nexus came in next to defeat Tangela and to earn ourselves the 4th badge. Now after beating the gym, it is now time to make our way towards Lavender Tower and to save Mr. Fuji. Now after killing the Lavender Tower Ghost, we make our way and beat the last Team Rocket Grunt to save Mr. Fuji and to get ourselves the Pokemon Flute. Now as we were making our way towards the Snorlax, we had to battle a lot of trainers and ended up evolving Star Shard to an excellent Pokemon. Sceptile is going to be a very, very helpful Pokemon. So after that, we killed Snorlax so we can make our way towards Fuchsia City. Now on the journey there are so many trainers to battle, and I actually almost died. I had 3 Pokemon left, so thank God we made it here just in time. So next up was to get Surf, a very, very powerful HM. Now we gave it to Mr. Dingus to learn because he's the only water type on our team and it would make the most sense for him to have it. Then we gave the gold teeth back to the Warden to get the HM strength. We taught it to Furret, making him even more powerful than he is now. So after a little bit of training, I feel like our Pokemon are ready to beat Koga to get ourselves the 5th gym badge. Now after beating Koga's last henchman, I ended up getting stuck on the invisible walls, and it took me quite a bit to get out of it. I swear, I always know where to go, but this time I was so confused, it took me so long just to get to him. But at the end, we made it, and now we are ready to battle Koga, and hopefully he gives us no issues. So I thought putting Chase first would be the best course of action against Koga's team. Since he is using a poison type team, I can hit him hard using psychic moves. So he started off with coughing, and I thought I would boost up my special defense and my defense using cosmic power. But then he made life so much easier because he used self-destruct. Thank God we boosted up our defenses so we wouldn't die. Then came Muck. Now Muck was a bit of a challenge because I would hit him super hard. But again, you gotta love Kanto trainers because they love using hyper potions when they're near death. So after a little back and forth, we finally beat Muck and took him down. Now after Muck came Koga's second coughing, and yes, we one-shotted him. My God, Chase is a monster in this gym. Even against his wheezing, he still ended up one-shotting him. Oh my God, Lunatone is so underrated. And that was it. We beat Koga, got ourselves the Soul Badge, and now we can use Surf out of battle. We also got one of the most OP status effect moves with Toxic, a very, very powerful move to have. So to get to Saffron City, we had to get the tea from the old lady to give it to the guard so he would let us pass. Now the gym is blocked by the Team Rocket crew, so we have to head to Slivko, defeat Giovanni once again to get access to the gym. After battling the people in Slivko, Mr. Dingus evolved into a Sceptile, just in time where we have to battle our rival, Mr. Poop. Now Pidgeot gave us a little bit of trouble, but in the end he was no match for Chase. That is one Pokemon down already. Next up was his Gyarados, a very tricky Pokemon to beat with no electric types. But in the end, Mr. Davis was up to the task and took down his Gyarados. Next up, Firered took out Growlithe in 2 shots. Man, I did not realize how powerful Firered can actually be. When I mean Firered is powerful, he did not just only take down the Growlithe, but he took down his powerful Alakazam. Firered, I have mistreated you in the past, but oh my god, you are amazing. Now I did try taking out his Venusaur with Firered because he was on a roll, but in the end Venusaur is just way too powerful and way too bulky, so I had to switch out. So then I threw in Mr. Dingus because he had the resistance to grass, but in the end Venusaur just got the upper hand. It almost took down Mr. Dingus as well. This Venusaur was giving me so much trouble because he kept putting my guys to sleep and just kept hitting me so hard. And thank God we had Nexus because he was able to eat a hit from Venusaur and take him down once and for all. Now after beating our rival, we make our way towards our father, Mr. Giovanni himself. Now Star Shard makes it easy and takes down his Nidorino and leveling up in the process. Then I switched out to Mr. Dingus. I got a couple growths up to try and boost up my special attack so I can hit him with Surf. Not only did that work in my favor, but he took down his Nidoqueen, took down Kangaskhan having just 1 HP left, and then one-shotted his Rhyhorn to beat Giovanni. Now after beating up our father, we save the president and get ourselves the Master Ball, which we cannot use, but it's still cool to have. Now with that out of the way, now it is time to get the next badge and battle Sabrina. Now a friend did tell me there is a way to actually get to Sabrina without battling her goons. You just have to keep going up and down and up and down and up and down until you actually reach the gym. Funny enough, this actually worked and we actually got to get to Sabrina without battling any of her trainers. She starts off with Kadabra, but we have Firered on our team and he takes him out with no problem at all. Now after getting confused from Venomoth's Psybeam, it kept hitting himself in confusion and we ended up losing Firered in the battle. Chase had to come in and play cleanup and defeat Venomoth using Rock Throw. Now this is where the battle got very, very tricky because Alakazam is a very powerful Pokemon and once it gets Calm Mind up, it is almost impossible to beat. And that's what ended up happening. It got so bulky after so many Calm Minds. Plus, on top of all the Hyper Potions Sabrina started using, it was impossible to take this guy down. Chase tried so hard to beat it, but in the end, Alakazam was just way too powerful and took out my Lunatone. Now, Star Shard did come in to try, but I completely forgot Alakazam has Recover and just made my work 10 times harder. Sadly, Star Shard was absolutely no chance and just got one-shotted from Alakazam because it was up 3 Calm Minds at this point. I was getting really nervous because I only had 3 guys left and it was not looking good. Now even with the master Mr. Davis at work, he could not take down this Alakazam. He was just eating hit after hit. Sadly, Alakazam did snap out of its confusion and took out Mr. Davis. Now we were just down to 2 more guys. I was sweating at this point because Nexus was going to be completely useless in this gym. But thank God for Mr. Cleanup himself, Mr. Dingus helped me beat this gym by using a bite. And that was it. We got ourselves the Marsh Badge and Psychic, a very, very powerful TM. Now after that, I did teach Port Surf to give him an extra edge in battling and to make him more of a monster than what he is. Now after that, we made our way past Seafoam Island to make our way to Cinnabar Island to get ourselves the 7th badge. Now with the gym doors locked, we had to get the secret key, which was in the mansion. So we made our way there, got the key, and made our way back to battle Blaine. Alright, this is it. It is now time to battle Blaine, the old fiery man himself. Our team looks ready, so hopefully we can get ourselves the 7th badge. Now, Blaine's first Pokemon was Growlithe. We were so close to beating it, and then in the end, this Shadow Ball did not end up killing him. I was so mad, and we ended up losing Nexus in the process. Now, it wouldn't be a gym battle without a bunch of Hyper Potions to heal their team. But Port made very quick of his Growlithe, taking out almost all his HP with one hit, and then ending him on the second one. Now, next up was his Ponyta, and thank God we have Surf because he ended up getting killed within 2 shots. Again, Furret, very, very underrated Pokemon. Now, next was Ponyta's big brother Rapidash, who came in, and we almost took this guy out in 2 shots, but sadly it was not going our way, and he took Furret out with Fire Blast. So Chase came in to play cleanup and take him out using Rock Throw. Now all that's left is his Arcanine. And this one's going to be a little tricky because Arcanine is fast and can hit very hard. But again, remember, we have Chase who can take him out using a Rock Throw, and that's exactly what he did. So we finally got ourselves the 7th gym badge, and we are 1 step closer towards the Elite Four now. On our way to Viridian, we passed by Palatown, said hi to Mom, get a quick heal in, and now we make our way towards the 8th and final gym of the run. Now, as we make our way in the gym, we have to get through all the goons that are blocking us to get towards our 8th badge. But with our team, it was actually very easy to get by all the trainers and helped us get a couple levels along the way. Now, after beating the last goon, this is it. It is now time to battle Mr. Giovanni. Now, his first Pokemon is Rhyhorn, but Star Shard makes it easy and takes him out in 1 shot. Next up was his Nidoqueen, and Star Shard was so close in beating her. But because Hyper Potions exist, it did not make it easy. Plus, on top of that, we got paralyzed from Body Slam, so in the end, Star Shard went down. So Port had to come in and play Mr. Cleanup and take down his Nidoqueen. Then came her husband, Mr. Nidoking, and again, we were so close in defeating this Pokemon. And sadly, in the end, we also lost Port. I was starting to get very, very irritated. And thank God for Haunter being a very fast Pokemon because he was able to defeat Nidoking very quickly. Now, I completely forgot Nexus's ability was Levitate, so while battling Dugtrio, he stood no chance. And lastly, Nexus took down Rhyhorn, finally finishing off Giovanni. And that is it. We finally got ourselves the 8th and final badge. The next step is now the Elite Four. Now this is when the challenge gets interesting. Now on my way to Victory Road, I completely forgot we have to battle our rival. Now this guy never backs down from a fight, so let's beat Poop and make our way there. Now he started off with Pidgeot, and I had Star Shard as my first Pokemon, not realizing this battle was going to happen, and sadly we lost him right away. Now I threw in Lunatone to finish off the job, but that Feather Dance made it more complicated. Even my Rock Throw could not beat him, so thank God Psychic was able to take Pidgeot down once and for all. Next up was Gyarados, a very tricky Pokemon to beat without any electric types. But again, we have Mr. Davis and takes him out with no problem. Then his Rhyhorn comes in and has it even worse. We take him out in 1 shot. Next, it was Furret versus Growlithe, and Furret took him out with no issue. Then right after that, he quickly disposed of Poop's Alakazam, leaving us with just 1 Pokemon to beat. And that last Pokemon is Venusaur, a very, very tricky Pokemon to beat. But remember, we have Mr. Davis, and he likes leaving no witnesses behind. So he took him out in one shot, finally defeating Mr. Poop. Now, after beating our rival and showing our last gym badge to the guard, we finally get entrance to the Elite Four. We are now one step closer to beating this game once and for all. After doing all the puzzles in this cave and battling most of every trainer, we finally make it out of Victory Road. Now, after looking at our team, we are still very, very low and have a lot of training to do. But if you made it this far in the video, guys, make sure to hit a like down below and subscribe if you have not. This video took so long to edit, so it would really mean a lot if you just leave a like in the comments down below. It is free, guys. It does not cost you a thing. Now, after training for so long, it is now time to battle the Elite Four and see if this team can win it. First, we stock up on some potions just in case. I don't think I'll need to use so many, but we have enough money to spend, so might as well stock up if we need. After that, I decided to head inside and battle our first opponent, the Master of Ice types. Alright, here we go. She starts off with Dugong, and we start off with Mr. Firered. Now, there was a little bit of back and forth in this battle. She even had to use a full restore to help her Pokemon. But in the end, Mr. Portalis was up to the task and took down Dugong. Now, next was her Cloyster. Now, I knew Port wasn't going to last that very long in this battle, but I want to get some sort of damage off to help our team. And using Strength, it got some chip damage out, but after using Dive, it took out Port. Now, after Port died, it is now time to throw out Mr. Davis. After using one Shockwave, he practically one-shots her Cloyster. Now, next up was Lapras, one of her most strongest and most bulkiest Pokemon. Now, I decided to throw out Nexus to try and take this Pokemon down. Now, I tried using Confuse Ray to at least give us some sort of advantage in this battle. And actually started off pretty good, making him hit himself in Confusion to get off a nice Giga Drain. But funny enough, it ended up using Confuse Ray on me as well and getting off a big enough hit where Nexus went down. So of course, after that, we decide to throw out Mr. Davis to try and clean up this Lapras. But being the bulky Pokemon it did not go down easy. It actually took quite a couple of hits for this Lapras to go down finally, and I tried to use a Confuse Ray to help us again in this battle. And this time, luckily, it went in our favor, would actually hit himself in its confusion. Now, after that, Star Shard took out her Slowbro with no problem at all, taking it down with 2 bite moves. Now, I tried doing the same thing with her Jinx, but sadly, it did not go to plan. After getting one good hit off, it ended up using Attract, and then it used a Lovely Kiss to put me to sleep. And sadly, that was it for Mr. Star Shard. He could not get out of that mess and ended up dying in the process. So we had to throw in our other Sceptile to help clean up this mess. I accidentally used Growth in this battle. I was so scared because Ice Punch I felt like was going to one-shot me. But luckily enough, it held on and we were able to defeat Jinx once and for all and beat the first Elite Four member. Now, before battling Bruno, we had to heal and revive most of our team. After doing that, it is now time to battle the second Elite Four member, Mr. Bruno. Now, Bruno is usually the easiest out of the 4 Elite Four members, but can still give us trouble when he wants. He starts off with Onyx, but we have Mr. Firered, who takes him out in one shot. Next up, it was Hitmonchan versus Mr. Davis. Now, I was so close to one-shotting his Hitmonchan with Psychic, but of course, this game hates me and it stopped at 1 HP. Now, I knew right away he was about to use a full restore, so I opted to use Confuse Ray, hoping that this move would help me down the line. And well, using Confuse Ray actually helped because after getting off one more Psybeam and getting him again to 1 HP, Confuse Ray did its job and took him out. Now next up was Hitmonlee. Now I had the same game plan, using Mr. Davis to take him out. But this game had other ideas because a Mega Kick did so much damage early on. Now sadly, Hitmonlee took out Mr. Davis with Mega Kick. So I threw in Nexus and he took him out with no problem. I always forget how fast Haunter is against most Pokemon. And once again, Mr. Furret took down Bruno's second Onix. And for his last Pokemon, Lunatone was so close to one-shotting him. But of course, he had to stay at 1 HP. But you know, they always love to use full restores. But that did not matter because on my next hit, Psychic got a crit and took down Machamp and beat Bruno once and for all. Now with Bruno out of the way, we make our way towards Agatha. Her team can be very tricky because they are fast and very powerful. Now she starts off with Gengar and I start off with Star Shard and it ends up one-shotting it with one bite move. After that, I switched into Lunatone against her Arbok, and once again, it one-shots it with Psychic. I was getting so hyped for this battle. But of course, this game likes to see me stress because once Golbat came in, it started giving me a run for my money. First, I hit myself in Confusion, then I flinch with Bite, but don't count Lunatone out just yet because once I finally get a Psychic move off, Golbat is going night-night and gets one-shotted. Now to end Agatha off, I threw in Star Shard to take out her Gengar and also to take out her Haunter. Both were easily taken out with a Bite. Now this is where I was starting to get very scared because Lance is one of the most OP trainers in all of Kanto. But this is it. This is probably going to be one of the hardest battles we've ever done so far. Now he starts off with Gyarados, which again, I do not have a proper electric type. But thank God I taught Mr. Davis Shockwave as it ended up defeating his Gyarados. Now next up was going to be Aerodactyl. Now I decided to stay with Mr. Davis and try and use Shockwave to get as much damage as possible. Now that ancient power move he had was giving me a run for my money. It was doing so much damage. But of course, once I get him to very low HP, he ends up using a full restore. Now I was able to get off one last Psychic to help lower his health, and then Mr. Davis was sadly taken out. So thankfully, when I switched into Mr. Furret, he was able to eat a wing attack and was able to take down Aerodactyl once and for all. Now this is when the battle got very scary because in came his big boy Dragonite. Now I put Dragon Claw on Star Shard because I knew this was going to happen, but Dragon Claw didn't really do as much damage as I thought, and then Dragonite takes down Star Shard with one shot. So then I switched back to Furret, hopefully getting off some sort of damage with Surf, and well, it did absolutely nothing. And then he used Hyper Beam and destroyed Mr. Portalis completely. So in came Mr. Lunatone, and hoping that Rock Throw would do something. Well, it did not. So I decided to try and use Hypnosis to try and put him to sleep and boost up my defenses, so hopefully I can eat some hits. And well, that actually worked in my favor because I was able to take down Dragonite using Psychic. Now next up was Dragonair. Even though it's not as bulky as Dragonite, it can still cause some issues because it knows Outrage. But in the end, it was no match for Lunatone and Dragonair went down. Now he had one more Pokemon left and guess who it is? It's another Dragonair. Now this one tried to be really tricky and tried to use Thunder Wave on us, but Mr. Lunatone was not having it and ate his last Outrage and ended up taking him down once and for all. But that is it for Mr. Lance the Dragon Master. Now we are just one battle away from becoming a Pokemon Master. So this is now our last battle with Mr. Poop, so hopefully we win like we have won the others. So here we go, our last battle, and he starts off always with Pidgeot. And like always, we start off with Mr. Davis, and we get a crit on our first Shockwave, almost one-shotting him. Now, after he used a full restore, I was hoping Shockwave would do the same amount of damage, but sadly, it did not. So after a little back and forth and him almost killing me, I was able to beat him with one last Psychic. Now in came his Gyarados, and I thought Shockwave would give him a lot of damage, which it did, but did not end up killing him. Sadly, on his move, he used Thrash and ended up taking down Mr. Davis. So I switched into Port to hopefully take down his Gyarados, and after the second time around using Strength, he took him down once and for all. Now after that came in his Alakazam, and I thought usually Port could take him out with Strength, but this time it did not matter because he survived the hit and took down Port with one shot. So I switched into Mr. Dingus and took out his Alakazam using Bite. Now next up was Arcanine, and I had Lunatone ready to go. But sadly, it had other plans. After being flinched by Bite and missing Hypnosis in the process, Arcanine just took out Lunatone without getting a single scratch on him. So I threw in Nexus, hoping he would get some sort of damage off on Arcanine. Now, Shadow Ball did absolutely nothing on him, and obviously Nexus went down in the process, sadly from Flamethrower. Now, I was getting very nervous now because I only had 2 Sceptiles left, and both were weak to fire. Now, I threw in Star Shard to try and poison the Arcanine, but then he ended up getting one-shotted by Flamethrower. Now, this was going to be a very stressful battle now. But Mr. Dingus was ready to go and ended up taking down his Arcanine with a crit Surf. This is it, guys. My last Pokemon against his ace Pokemon, Venusaur. Now, it starts off really good as my first bite makes him flinch. Now, the next couple of rounds, I was hoping to boost up my special attack using Growth. And once I got off a Surf, it did a lot of damage. Even when he tried to use Solar Beam, thank God I had Detect to block him from hitting me. Now, thank God he used Solar Beam because that blocked him from using any potions, and I was able to take down his Venusaur once and for all. Now, at this point, I actually thought I won the battle, but I completely forgot about his Rhydon. Thank God we were already 3 growths up, and I was able to one-shot his Rhydon and finally beat Poop to become champion of Kanto. But this is it, guys. What a journey it has been. Our team did such a fantastic job. I couldn't have asked for more. Every single Pokemon played their part in every single battle we have ever done. Now, this video took me so long to make and edit, so please, please, please make sure to hit that like button down below, guys. Subscribe if you have not. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. Make sure to leave a comment down below what was your favorite part of this video, and I hope to see you guys in the next Pokemon video.